to unite them all. You know, kind of like Lord of the Rings. But let's tell the story about Bitcoin MYK. The story goes a little something like this. All right? I had a vision and I had a plan. A coin divisible for which it stands. Transacted in Germany, belonged to Japan. Welcome back to the channel. Guys, I hope you're having a great evening. So today we're going to talk about the Bitcoin MYK rap song. So it seems like many of these cryptocurrencies, whether it's Bitcoin or something, they get these cryptocurrency rap songs, and we thought we'd do one as well. And you can see the video in its entirety on our other channel. We're trying to get subscribers to the other channel. It's more of a more light channel, just, you know, hobbies I do and stuff like that. We're gonna try to separate the channels a bit, and hopefully we can get at least 1,000 subscribers over there. So if you're on this channel, you just go over there and hit the subscribe button. We'll leave a link in the description to the Bitcoin MYK rap song. Maybe that'll help get you all over there to hear the entire song. This particular video, somebody was, you know, talking about they liked the lyrics and different stuff. And so I was thinking, in the past, we had done some analysis, some interpretations of songs, whether it was done by artists like The Weeknd or something like that, Kanye West. And I think we did a few videos like that. You might catch some movie review explanations on the channel as well. And I think that's what the other channel is going to be for, just more kind of random variety-like stuff. And I think this is going to start to just more condense into just your cryptocurrencies and what's going on, latest news with Bitcoin MYK and things like that. The other thing is this channel, a lot of people say, hey, you know, if you put more effort in the channel, get more good video equipment, you know, take it more serious and things like that. And I'm doing a lot these days. I have a lot of hats I'm wearing, and so it's been kind of hard, but maybe we will start doing things like that, and that might happen on the other channel. I think the problem with the Education Entertainment Television channel right now has been a lot to do with the demographic, right? I attract a much older crowd, people 30, 40 years old. We know on YouTube, the views are coming a lot of times for those younger people. And so maybe on the other channel, it might attract some of them, we'll see. But today we're going to do an analysis of the Bitcoin MYK rap song, simply because some of the music I do is very wacky. You know, people who watch the other channel, some of them talk about the song Aliens at Roswell, and it's just a very freakish, weird song. You know, so some of my lyrics are kind of strange, and so, or you just might not know what they mean. So we're gonna just briefly speak a little bit about some of the things that may or may not make sense, right? We hope you like the song. We're not going to play it through here because the double recording is going to hurt the quality. So what I'm going to do is just, you don't have the lyrics in front of you, but I got them in front of me. And, okay, so I'm going to talk about what some of the lyrics mean in the song, right? Maybe we just play a little tidbit. But you kind of probably heard the intro come on playing, and I think that's pretty self-explanatory. What you're getting pretty much is just the state of affairs with cryptocurrency. Bitcoin MYK is talking about how we're not making any money off cryptocurrency right now. Many of these coins are crap coins. The ones that are hyped up are meme coins that go nowhere, right? There isn't anything that has the moving power of early Bitcoin, right? I don't think it really has been since Bitcoin, was created. And a lot of people think it will never be like that again. But I beg to differ. I think the the world is unpredictable, and I think it's quite possible we can see other things besides Bitcoin. So it's just basically addressing that. Hey, it's nothing going on in cryptocurrency. Um, and then it references Lord of the Rings with you know that one ring to rule them all. You know, ultimately that's kind of Bitcoin right now. Everything, all roads lead back to Bitcoin, right? But Bitcoin doesn't offer a lot of opportunity for most people now. I think some of the stats are like 87% of network is owned by only 1%. So it's kind of going into the direction of maybe it's time for the king to move aside, right? And there'll be another cryptocurrency that draws all the attention and direction, right? Uh, Now everything else, is self-explanatory in the song. The only thing I guess I'll reference is there's a verse that goes, "The road to Bimini, the Atlantean sands," right? So if you don't know what Bimini is, uh, they were looking for the continent of Atlantis, and right off the coast of Florida, around the Bahamas, they's you know the idea is that they believe they found Atlantis because they see this long road you can see kind of from the sky underwater, but you can tell it's kind of man-made, and they call it the Bimini Road. Now, the reason that's in the song is because what really Bitcoin MYK represents is it represents the utopian-like dream of universal basic income, where everybody is valued and given dignity, and everybody is valuable to the world, right? What tends to happen in capitalism and many of our economic systems is, whether we want to say it or not, is that money makes people less valuable, right? That's the negative side to capitalism. That if you don't have money, you really are nobody in society, and people don't come out and say it, but that's pretty much how the system is setting things up. So the idea of everybody having value, everybody being worthy of basic needs met and things like that is the ultimate utopian dream. So the reference to the Bimini Road, the Atlantean sands, is talking about the concept of universal basic income uh, in its idea and concept being utopian. Uh, and that's very interesting because something can be utopian and still be possible or exist. And we have several examples of that. If we look at the talk done by the historian Rutger Bregman, uh, he talks about how, you know, utopian ideas change. One idea is during global slavery, right? We're only talking a few hundred years ago. Keep that in mind. But during global slavery, the idea that a world would exist where there were no slaves, where black people weren't enslaved, uh, sounded like a utopian idea, right? And so slavery ended. Uh, a lot of times when we think of utopian, it's kind of these far future like scenarios, right? Where you might see a television program like Star Trek, or the movies like Star Trek, or Star Wars or something, where they could do all of these things humans can, and they live in these robot run economies and places where the robots are service to people. They have flying cars. They have, all these technology that has freed up the human, right, to seek other things, whether it be philosophy or they're kind of in this abundant age where they can create almost anything. And whereas these utopian-like concepts that we would think could never exist, we're actually starting to see a world where we're seeing cars take off and fly. We're seeing robots that are going to soon be our servants. We're seeing 3D printers where you can kind of sit home and print up many of the products that you want without leaving the house. And it's kind of moving us into this age of abundance. And Bitcoin MYK is on the road to that, and it's saying that this is going to create some type of economy where it's going to either be kind of a mix of cashless, digital, crypto, blockchain, with resources being distributed through these means, right? And so that's what that's capturing. Of course, it actually uses the word in the lyrics, utopian schema, right? Now, when a utopian schema is, referencing a schematic, right? A blueprint, right? To this utopian-like situation. Again, going back to the idea of utopia cannot happen and will not happen, but that the view of utopia changes, right? And so, whereas now we live in a world with microwaves, tablets, refrigeration of everything, air conditioning. 100 years ago, we would have looked at that and maybe thought that looks like something like utopia and not thought it was possible. So the utopia kind of changes, right? A supernova explosion. Of course, that's just, looking at it like how we look at cryptocurrency. We call it blasting off. We call it going to the moon. We call it explosion, right? Supernova, same thing. Bitcoin MYK is a supernova. The freedom dividend, right? If you go back, that's like the next part of the song. It's talking about, I had a plan, a coin divisible for which it stands. Yeah, transacted in Germany. A coin divisible for which it stands. That's like a play on the American government. A nation indivisible for which it stands, right? Of course, in cryptocurrency, we always talk about fixed supply, but the reality is divisibility is very important in cryptocurrency. So it's just kind of a play on words. That's all that was. Then it goes on to the freedom dividend, right? The freedom dividend. The freedom dividend, we go back 3-4 years, presidential candidate Andrew Yang. And, a lot of our songs that's Bitcoin and YK related or related to universal basic income mentions Andrew Yang. On the other channel, the song UBI Messiah, it mentions Andrew Yang. And so the reason we give Andrew Yang a lot of call outs is not only because he's a rap song enthusiast himself. He loves Tupac and he loves the rap and things like that. And you can tell he has a good handle on, especially early rap music of the 90s, early 2000s. Many of you probably know him from being a presidential candidate who gained a lot of steam, basically talking about universal basic income. It was the first time many of us heard it. And really heard the term universal basic income. Up to then, many people didn't even know what it was. So Andrew Yang is very instrumental in bringing that to the public stage, even though the idea in modern history is over 300 years old, right? Coming from the Citizens Dividend by Thomas Paine. So instead of universal basic income, we use the word freedom dividend. It just tests better. Universal basic income gets pushed in with socialism, communism. It gets a negative connotation. Whereas freedom dividend, corporate dividends, it's people like it better, especially in Western cultures, especially in the United States. Freedom dividend just tests better, it sounds better, pretty much the same thing. But the reason that universal basic income doesn't get, I think, as bad of a negative label as many others, that it kind of plays out like, feels like, whether it be socialism or communism, is because universal basic income is still, it's kind of, the verdict is still up on it. Every time there's an experiment where it fails, it succeeds somewhere else. Um, you pick up a report one day where it's not working, but then it's working somewhere else. Now I think it's doing well in South Korea. Um, and so universal basic income doesn't have the negative impact historically like they label communism of the Soviet Union, or they label. And another thing is the citizens dividend, or the Thomas Paine version, is thought to be a very conservative American idea, coming from one of the leading conservatives of that time. So it's difficult to class it that way. But in addition to that, it just kind of works in capitalism, right? It can exist in capitalism, and so it's drawn people across the aisle, whether they be conservative or liberal or something like that. Probably one of the only political policies I know of that does that, right? That unites parties, that unites people, right? It's very powerful idea, whether it's in politics or economics or even in morality, right? If you're a religious person, if you're a Christian conservative, some of those people struggle with not liking universal basic income, simply because there is the compassion element. Christ fed thousands of people, and so it could be a very complicated web to try to see where it fits in. The other thing is Andrew Yang, he coins it as capitalism that doesn't start at zero. So a lot of people agree, if they start capitalism on a level playing field, they start off at the same point in capitalism, that capitalism works well. I think the negative part of capitalism a lot of people don't like is that you got some people starting off as billionaires, trillionaires, and then you got the guy who starts off being born in a tent. So, that is part of that issue. So, freedom dividend, throwing in Andrew Yang, all of that, um, basically goes into that. And then Bitcoin MYK being the fulcrum, right? It's kind of the balance to the equation. It's the answer, it's the solution at the end of the tunnel, right? It sets things a balance, right? And so in a complicated situation where you don't know what to do because automation is going to take all the jobs, and everybody's kind of sitting back going, okay, well, we know robots are going to take everybody's jobs, but what can we do about it but wait to see what happens and kind of put our head in the sand and hope new jobs are created or something. We don't know, right? And so instead of doing nothing, Bitcoin MYK, I guess you could say, it kind of becomes this solution, right? A solution when there are very few solutions to choose from. And that's pretty much the explanation of the rap song, right? Um, Again, I'm going to try to leave a link in the description. The Michael Burns channel, we're going to change that title name, Michael Burns. That's just the other channel I'm on. Make sure you subscribe over there. Let's get some subscriptions over there. Let's kind of make it match. Let's have it match the Education Entertainment Television channel, right? And make sure you go over there, listen to the whole song. Let me know if you like it. I hope you do. Uh, Bitcoin MYK is a bit different. We were thinking about kind of having it hyped up like those other Bitcoin songs, but because Bitcoin MYK is a different project than most of them, I guess we thought the song should be different, right? So that's all I want to say about it. We hope you like it. Until next time, as always, take care of yourselves and each other.